What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Landaris. You already know. You see it. You see it. L&L Lawn Service, Kansas City, Missouri, Blue Springs area. Back at you. Hey guys, I just so you guys could, quick video, just so you guys could be aware of some of the things that go on in lawn care as far as talking to customers, when somebody's trying to explain something to them, as far as whether it's your secretary or the person that's answering the phones or things like that. So I had a customer reach out to me, and the misunderstanding was bi-weekly and weekly cuts and how we actually do things and stuff. So the first scenario is, guy gives me a call, says, hey, I got a property that I own and that I'm going to be moving into in a couple of weeks, but I need a lawn care service to take care of my property until I get there. Okay, fine. So automatically, when I hear, my red flags go up, only due to the fact that sometimes you get scammers that try to get you to cut properties, and then they're paying, credit card or somebody else's credit card, or they try to run some type of scam on you when somebody's not living at that property. So my spidey senses go off. My spidey senses go off. Red flags start going up when I hear that somebody wants me to take care of that. And it's not toward, it's just a precaution. It's your spidey senses go off and makes you alert. Not that you don't trust the person that you're just talking to on the phone, but you just start trying to figure out things, like you start listening to keywords and things like that, so that you don't get scammed or whatever, or do a property and you don't get paid or whatever the case is. That's why you have to have that credit card on file, and sometimes those properties you have to charge before you do the service to see if it goes through. That way you don't get scammed on your end, where you do the property and then you try to charge the credit card, or you try to get payment and you don't hear from them, or you don't get the credit card that goes through, or whatever the case is. So always, on those particular situations, charge the card before you do the service. Okay, so anyway, the guy calls, he says, hey, I'm out of town, I got this property, I need it to be maintained until I get into town and move in and stuff like that. Okay, go take a look at the property. Property has a big backyard, huge backyard, and it hasn't been touched as far as cutting, first cut. So what I tend to do is, I tend to charge, I see what I would charge for the yard, which is, I would have charged weekly for that yard $65. $65 I would charge for this particular yard on a weekly basis. Okay, for bi-weekly, I tack on 50%. I got that off of Mike Andes, and it's been working. I tack on 50% of what I would have charged you for a weekly to do the bi-weekly, so it came out to $98, right? So I said the first initial cut, since we haven't been on that property, is going to be $98 to get it into shape. Then we'll start you the next following week on a weekly basis, if you want to be on weekly, which would be $65. If we coming back on the first initial cut would be the bi-weekly cut / the first initial cut, $98. Stay with me. When we come back, if you want to be on a weekly schedule, it's going to be $65 after that, every week. if you still want to be on, if you want to be on a bi-weekly, we're going to come back after that first initial cut. We're going to come back in 2 weeks after that, and we're going to cut it again for the $98.50 or the $98. Okay? And then go every 2 weeks after that, 10 to 14 days, bi-weekly. So I guess the guy wanted to do it until he got into town and stuff like that. So we cut it the first initial time, charged him $98, waited 2 weeks, and he also, we had that big storm that came through. Branches are down. There was already a pile of sticks and twigs and little limbs by the tree in his front yard, but there was also a big limb that fell off the tree. So I guess they noticed that, and he said, hey, I was wondering, when you get ready to do my yard again bi-weekly, can you pick up the twigs and pick up that big branch that fell? No problem. I said, our minimum charge to haul off debris, limbs and things like that will be $75 plus tax. So it'll be $75 for me to get those little twigs, a pile of twigs, and get the limbs and stuff and haul them off for you. That's the minimum. So that's what I did, the minimum. Picking up those limbs, picking up those twigs. I also used 2 leaf bags, which I charge about $1.50 per bag. You know, came out to like $3 or whatever. And then I always tack on tax. Any type of labor that I do, I tack on tax. Any type of supplies that I have or things that I use, I tack on tax. So his bill came out to $98 plus $3 for the bags, because I used 2, and $75 for the picking up the sticks, the twigs, and that branch and hauling it off for him. And it was probably about $6 worth of tax between us. So it came out to $189, right? So I sent him the bill, and luckily, credit card on file. I did the work. Credit card on file. I charge him. He gets it. He's like, he doesn't understand why he's charged $180. He said, I thought I was on bi-weekly, and I thought the bi-weekly was already paid for. So in his head, when I said, or when it was told to him bi-weekly, he thought it was going to be weekly $65. So he thought it was going to be $65 and $65 combined together. That's my bi-weekly. No, I told you it was $65 for me to maintain your property, for $65 for weekly schedule. If you want to be on a bi-weekly schedule, it's going to be $98. And he got confused with that. He thought that 65 and 65, I don't know, added up to like 90 something dollars or whatever the case is. I don't know. That's not how that worked. I mean, actually, that's more. You know what I mean? 65 plus the 65, you know, is more. So, more than your 98. So, I don't know how he was getting his math and all that stuff, but that's what he thought, that the $98 was just for, when I cut it that first time, that was the initial price. And then thereafter, that next following 2 weeks, I'm gonna come back and charge you another $98 for the bi-weekly. So he was kind of confused until I kind of explained it to him, and he was like, okay, cool. Plus you got the debris that you got added into it. And some people, you know, they tend to think that lawn care guys and lawn care professionals are not gonna tack on any type of tax. I don't know if you guys do, but if you're not tacking on any type of tax that you got to pay Uncle Sam later, you know, you better start tacking on tax. I used to didn't tack on tax until, you know, I had this mentor and he told me, hey, you got to start taxing for things. You have to tax for your labor, for all your supplies, for the things you have to tax as a business too, just like every other business too. It only helps you out in the long run. You put that in a separate account of your taxes so that you can pay taxes quarterly or at the end of the year, or if you have to pay in. It's just that simple. So lawn care guys should be taxing for their labor and their materials and things like that, just like any other business. You need to start taxing and things like that. You know, I got that. So I kind of took on Blades of Grass, because Blades of Grass used to, his prices used to be, and that's kind of how I do my model, like, so $98.50, $65.50. So each following week that you're there, you're getting a tack on of 50 cents. Now, you might not think that's nothing, but at the end of the year, all those 50 cents add up. That goes into a pot. All those 50 cents add up. That could, you know, buy you a set of tools, or help you out with something, or pay for something. You have to tax on your work. You have to tax on, you know, everything that you do in order to stay ahead of the game and stay on top of being able to buy little supplies. That it just only helps out. So I would encourage a lot of the lawn care guys to, if you're not taxing for your labor, you know, putting a tax onto it, you know, and our taxes is 8.66 whatever. So anytime I do any type of work, or I use any of my supplies or bags, or, you know, or any type of labor, if I'm doing a spray, if I'm spraying somebody's, spot spraying somebody's yard for weeds, any type of stuff, I put a tax onto it at the end of the day. And it only helps your business out, and it helps you stay, you know, ahead of the game when it comes down to taxes, and it'll lessen that blow if you got an ON and stuff like that, where you can go into your tax account and pull that money out that you've been saving for taxes or getting for taxes, put it in a different account, and then you keep it there until at the end of the year. And if you use it on taxes, or if you have to pay in, you know, you can pull it out and it helps you pay your taxes, or you could just keep it and use it for you know, supplies or things like that. So I encourage a lot of you lawn care guys, if you ain't been taxing, or you don't tax on anything, you should be taxing. And I didn't start doing this until a little bit later in the game, you know, which I should have been doing from the get-go. So if you're just starting out and you're trying to be a legit business and things like that, just like any other business out there, you need to tax. So all in all, you know, I had a discussion with the guy, and he's going to be moving in, canceled the service, you know, due to the fact that he doesn't need me anymore, or need the service anymore. He just wanted it until he got into town, which is cool, but you have to make sure you make your money in the time being when you're dealing with customers, and make sure that they are aware of your pricing and how you do things. And I had to kind of educate him on what bi-weekly is and weekly is, and how lawn care companies charge and when they come back for weekly. I told him, you know, weekly service is between 5 to 7 days every week, and bi-weekly is every 10 to 14 days for bi-weekly. if you want to be on that schedule. So it's just a little education that you have to educate some of your customers. So the next time he has he wants service, or he goes to a different company or wants to, he would know what bi-weekly and weekly is. He didn't know what bi-weekly and weekly, how lawn care companies do weekly and bi-weekly services. He thinking that, bi-weekly is, $98, and then that's going to be for the 2 weeks, and then that's it. So obviously, he just wanted 2 weeks worth of service, I guess. But if he would have told me that 2 weeks, that would have been a waste of my time. Those are one-time cuts, and those one-time cuts I charge different for one-time cuts when I do one-time cuts. So if he would have told me, hey, I want you to come do a one-time cut for me, and then if I need you again, I have you come back and do another cut, I would have charged him my one-time cut prices, and most likely they still would have been that bi-weekly price that I gave them, because some customers have you do their yard and then call you 3 weeks later, say, hey, I just want to cut, and we'll see after that if I need you, or we'll see how your services are, and if it's good, then I'll keep you on board, and I'll do that. They try to play these games with you so that you can cut their yard, and then they can call you back later, 3 weeks or a month later, and say, hey, I need my grass cut. Can you cut my grass? And you're like, okay. But if you don't have something set up where you have a premium one-time cut, which is going to be way above what you would normally cut it, and if you don't have things set into place that kind of prevents customers for taking advantage of you, then you're going to lose out on money. So that's just a tip that I could give you, that I had to learn over time. Like, I think they trying to get over on me. They want me to come cut their grass. I give them my weekly service price, and that's what they think they're going to get. But then they call me 3 weeks or a month later and say, hey, can you cut my grass again? And if you don't know, you'll go back over there and do it for that weekly price that you did. You have to have you either do one-time cuts. Some lawn care companies don't do one-time cuts. They want you on a schedule. Now, I'll do it every once in a while if I got time, but it's going to cost you for these one-time cuts. So if you're serious about a one-time cut, you're going to pay the serious price for a one-time cut. So that's all I want to, share with you guys so that you're aware. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Today I am going to do my Saturday route, because I got some things I got to do with the son as far as football camp, things like that on Saturday. So I have to clear my Saturday and do them today, which is Thursday. I have to clear my Saturday route. I'm going out on a Thursday, clear my Saturday route, which I'm supposed to be at my other job, but you gotta juggle, you gotta make sacrifices, you gotta do all this other stuff, to make things work for the family, for your business, and for if you got another job or whatever, you gotta make things work. You gotta juggle all these things and kind of say, okay, if I want to spend time with my son at his camp and all that, and I got yards scheduled for Saturday, and I need that cleared, then I'm sick today for work, and then you go out and you do your other work. You got sick days at your other job, so you just go out and do that. Sometimes I do the same thing when I have a high ticket price, where if I'm making $400 at my other job, and I could come out here in the lawn care and make $1,500 that same day, or you know, on a landscape job, or I could go out and I got something lined up where, you know, I got aerations or overseeding where I'm gonna be making $2 grand to $400. I mean, you do the math. Which one are you gonna pick? $400 or $2 grand? Right. I'm sick. I'm calling in. I can't make it today. Put me in as sick. You know, you just got to juggle these things. You know what I'm saying? It's not being malicious that you want to just call in and all that, but you got to do what works for you and what makes sense as far as money wise too. You know, so we're here to make money, no matter what, on whatever job. So you have to see what fits you and go with that. But yeah, guys, I'm out. Long enough video for you guys, but like I said, tax your customers, put tax onto the things that you do. Be aware of doing yards that people don't live in. Just be cautious about them. Not saying you don't have to trust them, but just be cautious about them, because they people be out there scamming and having you do stuff, and then they don't pay you, or you know, they got some shady credit card, or they got something where they're gonna ask you to do something, just something crazy that don't sound right. But yeah, guys, just listen to some of these tips and try to implement them into your business, and you're gonna be well off later, instead of, you know, do them now instead of later on. Where look at these lawn care guys and see how they're doing things to implement in your business that's going to keep you ahead of the game later on, so that you not waiting 5 years later down the line to get credit cards on file, or 5 years down the line you're putting tax on to your supplies and things like that. You know, you got to start doing these things now in the beginning, so that you can your business can run better later on, and you don't have to go through the heartaches or the trials and the tribulations of failure. You're gonna fail, but you get back up. But if you don't have to go through all the failures and all the little things that we go through in order to tell you what you should be doing or what you should try, or you can only try it, and if it works in your business, it works. If it don't, then try something else. And that's what I've been doing. So, all right, guys, like, subscribe, leave your comments. I know it's a long video, but thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Like, subscribe, leave your comments, hit that bell button, do whatever you got to do, but you better do it. All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you on the next video.